All right. Welcome to Two Guys, One Bible, episode 2. The show where two idiots read the Bible, don't know how to pronounce things, and talk about it. So, my name's Jay,
I'm Cameron.
and let's get into it.
All right, last time we left off Genesis 15. We just finished that one. No video on the first one because just like with Genesis chapter 1 to 11, we're idiots.
And we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, so now we're recording both the audio and the video.
Yes.
We're getting there. All right, Genesis 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "See now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children. Please go into my maid, perhaps I shall obtain children by her."
That's a tricky situation. That's basically a surrogate mom.
Yeah,
And
but with the natural impregnation.
yeah,
They must be very secure in their relationship.
very secure.
Good for them. Good for them. Maybe I'll obtain children by her. And Abram heeded the voice of Sarai. Then Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. So she straight up got married to him. That wasn't even like a surrogate mom. They're sister wives now. And after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, so he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between you and me."
Whoops.
Right? Whoopsie. So Abram said to Sarai, "Indeed your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please." And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Let's skip right over that part.
Yeah.
Skip over the whole beat your servant if you want to part.
Because honestly, here's the thing: this is the New King James version of the Bible, and there is some areas that are a little bit questionable in the way that they were interpreted and rewritten.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with all of it.
No. We're just here.
It is important.
Like we said in the last episode, we're not making any statements here. We're not doing anything like that. This is just two idiots trying to read the cover-to-cover Bible and have a discussion about it.
Yep.
We're not role models, and we're not saying anything. We're not trying to tell you guys anything. We're just having a discussion.
Yep.
Hopefully you guys can get something out of it. So, now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way of Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from and where are you going?" Cotton-eyed Joe.
Where have you come from?
She said, "I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai." The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude." And the angel of the Lord said to her, "Behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction.
Ishmael.
He shall be a wild man. His hand shall be against every man."
Every man.
Every man. And every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's him against the world,
Him against the world.
prophetically. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, "You are the God who sees." For she said, "Have I also here seen him who sees me?" Therefore the well was called Beer Lahai Roy. Observe, it is between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram named his son who Hagar bore Ishmael. Abram was 68 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. And that's young in the Bible to have kids. 68, like you're popping them out pretty early.
Yeah, that's very young.
When Abram was, this is Genesis 17 now, we're on to 17.
Okay.
When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, "I am Almighty God. Walk before me and be blameless." Walk before me and be blameless.
Blameless.
Power.
Power.
Walking with God is the only way to be blameless.
And blameless meaning
Go on.
Just blameless, basically meaning, unable
To be blamed.
to be blamed for all of the wrongdoings that are going on in the world around you. Because before that, the thing is we're all a part of everything around us. I had a point.
Welcome back to Deep Insights with Jay and Cameron. Blameless means you cannot be blamed.
Yeah, well, okay. So what I mean is, it's important to understand that you're responsible for the world around you. So even if you're not directly involved in something, it's kind of your fault too. Not necessarily directly, but in a way of if you had anything that you could do to have done about it.
Guilt by association and negligence.
Exactly. And to be truly blameless means that you can't even be held accountable for that. And I think that's a big point to make. See, I had a point. Just brain farted for a minute. Jeez.
And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. Then Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations.
Many nations.
No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many great nations. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Abraham translates to... what does that translate to?
Let's find out. Hold on.
Because I know there's a lot of names like in the Bible that translate into something that sheds more context.
The name may be viewed either as meaning father of many in Hebrew, or else as a contraction of Abram, meaning many, multitude.
How is a longer word a contraction?
I'm just reading what Google said, man. The biblical patriarch Abraham was originally named Abram, but God changed his name. See Genesis 17:5. So,
means father of many.
Father of many.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Emmanuel means God
Big
with
Daddy
us.
Abram.
I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you.
Your kid gonna be kings.
Kings on kings. Me and you and your descendants after you and the generations for an everlasting covenant to be God to you and your descendants after you. Also I give you and your descendants after you the land in which you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan as an everlasting possession, and I will be their God.
Yes.
And God said to Abraham, As for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout the generations. This is my covenant which shall keep you between me and you, which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you.
Yes.
Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins. Mm-hmm. And it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you.
So we're going to cut your phallic...
Just the tip. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the hood. Taking the turtleneck off.
Yeah. There's a whole conversation to be
Going down
had
to a
there,
V-neck.
but like I really don't want to have it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have like an addition to this episode.
We'll probably end up doing like little offshoot episodes where we deep dive into other stuff.
Yeah, but for now we're just gonna leave.
We're just going through it.
We're just gonna pound through it.
So, he who is 8 days old
8 days old
will be circumcised. Could you imagine waiting until you were 8? I'm really glad they did it when I was a baby. Tell you that much.
Wait, 8 days old. You're still a baby.
Yeah, but like, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
I'm stupid. It's Cuban.
It's cumin. Shout out Sean Patton.
He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised, every man in your generations, He who is born in your house or brought with money from any foreigner who is not your descendant. He who is born in your house and who is bought with your money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. Don't cut your penis, you cut the covenant.
Yeah.
Then God said to Abram, as for Sarai your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name.
Sarah. You gotta call her Sarah.
And I will bless her.
I do it.
And also give you by her son by her. And then I will bless her, and you shall have another mother for a nation.
Another mother for a nation.
Kings of peoples shall be from her.
Yes.
Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and he said in his heart, shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old, and shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child?
Yes.
And Abraham said to God, O
to
Ishmael,
God.
might you live before you.
Wait, what was it?
Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. Then God said, no, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. Do it.
Do it.
I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall get 12 princes.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
You know how much inheritance you need for 12 princes?
Yeah. By the time they split up your kingdom, dude's like, well, okay, so you get this like little field. There's some stuff in it, but like it's just you get this spot, and like, yeah. That's a lot different than being a prince and inheriting the whole kingdom. You got to split that up 12 ways. I'd be salty. However, the blessings of the Lord are fruitful and many.
Even a fraction.
Even a fraction.
Power. So, he said, 12 princes, and I will make a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this time set next year. Then he finished talking with him, and God went up to Abraham. So Abraham took Ishmael, his son, all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that very same day, as God had said to him. So he just went on a penis-cutting frenzy that day.
Yep. Cutting phalluses.
All I'm saying is people back then had a lot more faith. Because if I came to your house and told you I had to cut your penis because God wanted me to,
what would you say?
I have a hard time believing you would have enough faith to be okay with that. Get good.
That's a lot of faith.
A lot of faith.
A lot of faith.
Whew, Abraham was 99 years old, so he's almost a century old.
Yeah. Seen some stuffs.
So that means not only did he go around doing that, but they let him, because, like, a 90-year-old man or a 100-year-old man can't force that on you.
No.
They willingly.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. I don't know. All right. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old. 13 was when he got circumcised.
Nope. Man, 13 years old, you come up to me and you go, I got a snippy, your doodads.
See, the worst part of that is that's right around when you start becoming a man, so to speak. And
you've had a boner. That's uncomfortable.
Especially if you just had your penis cut.
Yep.
Woo.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
It's a whole lot of faith.
That very same day, Abraham was circumcised. So, all right, so he did it himself also, and he's 99. Like,
yeah.
But see, at that point, he's kind of done using it, though, right?
Yeah.
I guess not, because he's just having kids now.
Well, yeah, he's still having babies. Babies.
Yeah, and all the men of the house, born in the house, or bought with money from a foreigner, were circumcised with him.
Yes.
Genesis 18. Then the Lord appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre, as he was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the day. So he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing by him. And when he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the ground, and said, My Lord, if I have now found favor in your sight, do not pass on your servant. Please let a little water be brought. Wash your feet, rest yourselves under the tree, and I will bring a morsel of bread that you may refresh your hearts.
A morsel.
A morsel. After that you may pass by, inasmuch as you have come to your servant. They said, Do as you have said. So Abram hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, Quickly, make ready 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes.
Make us some cake. Quickly.
Bake some bread real quick.
Yes. Quickly.
From scratch.
From scratch.
Grind up some meal. Roll it into some dough. Bake some real quick. Real quick, make some bread.
Yeah.
Okay. Just saying, Betty Crocker ain't got shit on Sarah.
No. No, Sarah's killing the game.
And Abraham ran to the herd, took a tender and good calf, gave it to the young man, and he hastened to prepare it.
Hastened.
Salmon.
Quickly.
So he took butter and milk and the calf, which he had prepared, and he set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree as they ate. Then he said to them, Where is Sarah, your wife?
Where'd she go?
So he said, Here, in the tent.
She's with me.
And he said, I will certainly return to you according to the time of life, and behold, Sarah, your wife, shall have a son.
Ooh.
Sarah
Another
was listening.
baby.
Sarah was listening. He was listening in the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Door, she was right behind him.
She heard it.
Right in the tent door, she was right behind him.
She went, ooh, I'm going to have a baby.
Woo-hoo. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and Sarah had passed the age of childbearing. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I have grown old,
there's no way I'm having a baby.
shall I have pleasure, my Lord being also old?
This whole thing dried up.
Like, he's too old, I'm too old. It's not even going to be fun.
No.
And the Lord said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I surely bear a child since I am old? Is there anything too hard for the Lord?
You really think he can't make you have a baby?
Is there anything too hard for the Lord?
Is there anything too hard for the Lord? You're going to have this baby.
I posit no. There's not. At the appointed time, I will return to you according to the time of life, and Sarah will have a son.
Mm-hmm.
But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. And he said, No, but you did laugh. Then the men rose from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them, to send them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing? Since Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring them to Abraham what he has spoken to him. And the Lord said, Because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me. And if not, I will know. Then the men turned away from there and went towards Sodom, but Abraham still stood before the Lord. Abraham came near and said, Would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? You gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater?
Yeah, exactly. Are you gonna just go ahead and wreck the whole because some bad eggs?
Suppose there were 50 righteous within the city. Would you also destroy the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous?
Leave it for the good guys, man. Come on.
Far be it for you to do such a thing as this, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be as the wicked. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous people within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. He's willing to spare all of the wicked if it means saving a few
50 righteous. And they weren't there.
Time and time again in this, just in Genesis so far, we have seen probably 5-6 times now, God just desperately trying to give a chance to people.
Yes. And people continuously screwing it up.
Yeah. He tried with Adam. Tried again with, right after Adam, who was it?
Bunch of people.
Yeah, there was Noah, there was Isaac, I think.
Mm-hmm.
People keep dropping the ball.
Jacob.
Yeah. People keep dropping the ball. Enoch, though. Jared's son.
Solid fella.
Yeah. Apparently he just went to heaven alive. Like, God just was like, come on, bro.
Because he was
walking with them.
He was
walked
walking
with them for 300 years.
But he was also someone that was very susceptible to doing wrong. So it was important that he was recalled early.
Because he was still pure.
He was still pure.
Then Abram answered and said, Indeed, now I who am but dust and ashes, have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose there were 5 less than the 50 righteous. Would you destroy all the city for lack of 5?
So now he's trying to bargain.
Yeah. Not only is
so he
Abraham,
started with the 50,
Yeah.
and God was like, all right.
not
now he's
only
like,
is
okay,
Abraham
but
here
45.
coming in and saying, I know I am just dust and ash. I know I'm just a man, dust to dust. But I have come and I have come to speak to God, and I want to know: Are you gonna nickel and dime
But
it?
I think there's a little bit of unfairness there, because he said 50, and God agreed.
Yeah.
Said 50. And now he's coming back and he's going, okay, but 45 maybe? Like...
Well, and God said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it.
Yeah. Did he?
And he spoke to him. I spoke to him yet again and said, suppose there should be 40 found there.
Ah. Now we're starting to get...
Haggling.
Yeah, we're haggling.
He said,
How
I
you
will
gonna
not
haggle with God?
Well, it's working.
It's working.
He said, so I will not do it for the sake of 40. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 are found there. And he said, indeed now I have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 should be found there.
Yeah.
He said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20.
Wow.
Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, but I will speak but once more.
10.
Suppose 10 should be found. Just 10.
Just 10 guys. So
10
we're
of a
from
whole
50 to
city.
10. God's letting him slack here.
Every chance. He just wants to give people
Every chance
the
to
blessings.
do the right thing. And be blessed.
And he wasn't even fighting back on it. He was like, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do
okay.
it for 40.
I'll do it. I'll do it for 30.
20.
I'll do it
Yeah,
for
10.
20. Shit, we'll even do it for 10.
Come on, man. Come on. Let's go. He said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went his way as soon as he had finished speaking with Abram, and Abraham returned to his place. Mm-hmm. Now we're on Genesis 19.
Genesis 19.
Okay. Now the 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he rose to meet them and bowed himself to face toward the ground. And he said, Here now, my lords, please turn into your servant's house and spend the night, and wash your feet, then you may rise early and go on your way. And they said, No, but we will spend the night in the open square. But he insisted strongly, so they turned into him and entered his house. Then he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Now before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every quarter surrounded the house. And they called to Lot and said to him, Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them carnally. So Lot went out to them through the doorway, shut the door behind them, and said, Please, my brethren, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have 2 daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish.
Yeah.
Only do nothing to these men, since the reason they have come under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. Then they said, This one came in to stay here, and he keeps acting as a judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them. So they pressed hard against the man Lot, and came near to break down the door. But the men...
To break down the Dewey.
Break down the door. Break down the door. The men reached their hands and pulled Lot into the house with them, and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary trying to find the door. So, I just want to point out here that we're not making any statements of anything, but I think the main important thing to look at here, that, like, if we're talking about evil doings, is that this crowd of people came to try to rape them.
Yeah.
I don't personally want to make any statements about
condone
anything else
rape.
that's the issue here. They're raping people.
They're raping people.
Like, it doesn't matter who you're raping. That's bad.
Yeah. That is generally bad.
Yeah. Anyway, where's that? Oh, lost 2 pages. There we go. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here? Son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and whomever you have in the city, take them out of this place."
Yeah, get them out of here, because I'm about to do some stuff, bro.
No, that's the men talking to Lot. That's the angels. That's the angels.
Yeah.
For we will destroy this place, and because the outcry against them has grown great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. Rain and brimstone.
Yep.
Pillars of salt. So Lot went out and spoke to his son-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Get up, get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city." Mm-hmm. But to his son-in-law, he seemed to be joking. It's a good joke.
Ha 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 ha.
Anyways, like, if you came to me and like, they're about to start bombing Dallas, like real serious, I would be like, funny. Like, as you're running and leaving.
Yeah. As I'm very clearly, obviously concerned.
I'm getting out of here.
I'm leaving. You can stay, but I'm finna go.
When the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, "Arise, take your wife with your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city." And when he lingered, the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they brought him outside, that he said, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed." So, real quick, just to address that, they were taking their sweet time. Even Lot and them weren't they weren't getting these chests like God wanted them to.
No.
And so the angels, from what I'm interpreting here, literally just grabbed them and made them be outside the city all of a sudden.
Yep.
Like, just divine intervention, just bloop, you're outside the city now. Mm-hmm. And they said, "Get on."
Get on.
Then Lot said to them, "Please no, my lords. Indeed now your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have increased your mercy, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil overtake me and I die. See now this city is near enough to flee to, and it is the little one. Please let me escape there. Is it not a little one, and my soul shall live?" And he said to him, "See, I have favored you concerning this thing also, and that I will not overthrow this city for which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there." Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen up on the earth, and Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities, all the plain.
You smell that? You smell that brimstone?
Stank. So he overthrew those cities, all the plain, all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground.
Old school wrath of God is the best.
He went hard.
He went hard.
But Lot's wife looked back behind him. She turned into a pillar of salt.
Oh. We're going to go ahead and leave it off there.
We're halfway through Genesis 19.
Yeah, well, we're at 30 minutes.
We have this much to go until we're done to 20.
You want to just push it?
Yeah, we can't finish halfway through a thing.
All right, let's go.
And Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. Then he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land in the plain, and he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land which went up like the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out into the midst of overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. Then Lot went up to Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters were with him, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. And he and his 2 daughters dwelt in a cave. Now the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is no man on the earth to come in to us as is the custom of all the earth. This is what I was talking about before. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve the lineage of our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. It happened on the next day. It happened on the next day. The firstborn said to the younger, Indeed, I lay with my father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight also, and you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve the lineage of our father.
It's got a little inbreeding going on here.
Yeah. Then they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father. The firstborn bore a son, and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites today. And the younger, she also bore a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the people of Ammon to this day. And that wraps up Genesis 19.
All right. Well, we will see you guys again continuing with Genesis 20. Have a good one.
God bless.